Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody. So in today's video I am going to be making the cookies that I promised you guys in the last video. I promise I'm going to be doing the shortbread chocolate chip cookies, and this is all that we have over here. We have flour, milk chocolate chips. This is a very flexible recipe, so you can use whatever you want. You can use whatever kind of chocolate chips. We're milk chocolate chip people in this family, so we're doing milk chocolate chips. You're gonna need some butter. You're gonna need 2 sticks, and this is from Kirkland's. This is from Costco. So if you are planning for quarantine, you should be thinking about quantity and not necessarily quality. But this is very good butter, but it does not have to be grass-fed or anything like that. Stay out of my comments. We have salt. I have butter flavoring. This is butter extract actually, and this is completely optional. Sometimes I have this, sometimes I don't. And of course we have sugar. We have vanilla flavor, and no, this is not vanilla extract. Stay out of my comments. Vanilla flavoring does just fine. You guys are all crazy if you think that a half a teaspoon of something is going to change the flavor of something with 2-3 cups of flour in it. Yes, I do like extract. I prefer powdered vanilla extract and extract that is very expensive that will have the bean, the Tahitian bean inside already, but this is quarantine. I'm not wasting good vanilla extract when it has to get us through God knows how many weeks, okay? So we're gonna do vanilla, imitation vanilla, and it's gonna taste great. We're gonna need some organic turbinado sugar. It does not have to be organic, doesn't even have to be turbinado sugar. It just needs to be some type of raw brown sugar because we're gonna roll the cookies in this, all right? So I am gonna put on some gloves because somebody dragged me in one of my earlier videos for cooking and baking with nails on. So I'm gonna put some gloves on so I don't hurt y'all's sensibilities, and then we're gonna get started on this recipe. So I'm using my stand blender here, or my stand mixer. You can use whatever you want, but I just find this to be easier. And I'm gonna be using my paddle attachment with this. I'm gonna be using 2 cups of flour. This is white lily flour. I smuggled this in from Maryland. I don't think they sell this on the West Coast, but I really, really like this flour. I smuggled in 2 bags and I'm still working through it. So if you're on the East Coast, get you some lily flour. If you're on the West Coast, any kind of flour will work. King Arthur, gold medal, anything will work. Store brand. So I'm gonna put 2 cups, put this to the side. I'm gonna put 2 cups of flour in this bowl right here. And you notice that we're not using any leavening agents. We don't need baking soda or baking powder. And we're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And you want these a little salty, so we are using salted butter. All right, and that's it for the dry ingredients. I don't need a whisk for this, so I'm just gonna take like a fork and just whisk this all together. All right, so I'm gonna set this over to the side back here. And now we are going to cream the butter, the sugar, and everything else. Let's actually start creaming the butter first. Get this out of the way. So we're gonna need 2 sticks of butter, salted butter. And we're just gonna pop this in. And what else do we need in here? Sugar. So I'm gonna put in 1/2 cup of sugar. White sugar. And now I'm just going to mix this up for a couple of minutes until it's creamed. And sometimes the butter gets, or the sugar gets down at the bottom, so you kind of want to lift your bowl just a little bit just to get all of that. Okay, that should be fine. I'm going to put that back down. We're going to cream that out. Now we're going to put in the egg yolk. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just put the egg whites in this bowl, just like so. I hope you crack it a little bit better than I did, but it's fine. And you're just gonna put the egg yolk in here. And we're gonna put this in the refrigerator because we're gonna use this later. This is the egg white. So my cookies are legendary. If you have ever had my Christmas cookies, you know that my butter shortbread is the favorite, everyone's favorite. This is the butter shortbread cookie. I'm just letting you know. So if you like that cookie, you have access to this recipe right here. All right, this is what I do. I am adding some extra stuff to it, but this is my butter shortbread recipe. And I'm just gonna scrape this down so everything gets mixed up. And I'm just gonna eyeball this. This is put about a teaspoon of this in here. This is very strong, so you don't want to use too much of this. You know what? My philosophy with both vanilla flavoring and vanilla extract is to go ham. I do not think that a half a teaspoon of anything makes much of a difference in the recipe. You really cannot tell if it's missing or not. So I like to just add as much as I feel like it. So that's about a tablespoon, and that's what I do. Period.
Period.
Period, sis. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in the flour mixture. Pro tip, cover that up when you're just starting because the flour will get everywhere. All right. And this is all going to come together. There's enough water content in the butter to where you do not need to add any type of liquids or anything like that. We're going to be good. It's going to all come together. And as you can see, it's really super sticky, but that's good. That's just what you want.
When do we get to the chocolate part?
Oh, in just a minute. I just need to scrape this down. See, and you know what? These spatulas are completely useless.
Oh.
I'm just gonna get a regular wooden stick and I'm gonna push all of this down. Or a wooden spoon with a wooden stick. Well, I guess a stick will work too.
Anything's better than this.
I know, right? And to be honest with you, I am not sure how much. I made this recipe twice last year. I made it once for Valentine's Day when we did a little, my friends and I, we did a Valentine's Day like secret box, secret Santa type box or secret Cupid box. And I made these, and then I made them for my man last year as well. I don't remember how many chocolate chips I put in here though. So I'm just gonna go for it. This is based off of Allison Roman from the New York Times. This is based off of her recipe, but I am using my own shortbread recipe. And she used like, I think dark chocolate chunks, and her recipe is a little different, but this is what inspired, her recipe inspired this one. So I think I'm gonna do half a cup because you don't want to like overwhelm the dough with chocolate chips. Pro tip, you can also put toffee in this. I have made these with toffee before. Now granted, that was when I was in my baking mojo and I made my own toffee, but you can just put regular packaged toffee in here as well. So I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit with the mixer and see how the chocolate chips look. And this is completely useless. But I think that's enough. I think half a cup is good. So it should be really, really stiff right now. And you do not want to overwork this dough. So I'm just scraping this all down. And now I'm going to grab some parchment paper. I'll be right back. All right, so I got some parchment paper here. And now I'm going to grab the cookie dough and I'm going to plop it down on here. Now with my shortbread cookies, I would pack this out into, turn this way. With my shortbread cookies plain, I would just pack this out into a disc before I refrigerate it. But this, we're going to roll this into a log because we're going to cut these log style. And with the regular shortbread cookies, I roll it out and then I use cookie cutters to get the cookie shapes, but we're not gonna do that this time. So you can take a little bit of flour if you want, especially if you're not wearing gloves like me. Take a little bit of flour and then just roll this into a log. You can also split this up into two if you want to do that. Let me think. Let's see how this log turns out first. Just trying to see if this is the height that I want my cookies to be. If you want them to be tall, then you want to make them more, you want to bring this in and make it more squat, like so, which will give you less or fewer cookies, but they will be thick. Yes, they will be thick. All right, I think that's good. I think that's a good thickness, huh?
I agree.
All right. So now I'm just gonna take this while it's sitting here and I'm gonna roll this in. We're gonna pop this in the refrigerator for about an hour, but you can leave it up in the refrigerator up to about 3 days. You don't have to make this right away. All right, so I'm just gonna pop this in the refrigerator and I will be back to show you how to do the rest of it. All right, so we're back. It's several hours later. And now I'm gonna put my gloves back on. I cannot remember if I used a serrated knife or a regular sharp knife to cut these cookies, so I have to do some experimenting here. I'm gonna take this organic turbinado sugar and I'm gonna pour it into this plate right here. All right, that should be enough. And I have my egg whites here from earlier. And here's the cookie dough. It's been sitting out for about 5 minutes. And here's the cookie sheet that I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna set this over to the side. All right, so I'm gonna take my cookie dough out, and it's still very firm. That's just the way you want it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this in half. Oops. Like so. And I think that the regular knife works better. And then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take the egg whites with my little brush here and I'm going to brush this all over the cookie log. Okay, now I'm gonna take this and I'm going to just set this in here and make sure that you get the brown sugar all over the cookies. Pop this back over here. I'm just gonna press that in. And now I'm gonna slice the cookies. Just gonna place these on here. I'm gonna do it this way to have more space. Now I'm gonna put these in a 350-degree oven in the center of the rack, and I will let you guys know how long they need to bake for because I honestly have no idea. Okay, so those cookies came out a little bit bigger and thicker than I wanted. I'm gonna show them to you in a minute, but I didn't roll the log out long enough, I don't think. It's been a while since I've made these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to I'm gonna cut these remaining pieces in half. So I'm gonna cut this lengthwise right here. And then that should give me a slightly smaller cookie. Okay, so these are the finished cookies. See how big they are? They're brown on the bottom. These are crunchy, you guys. They're shortbread cookies, so they're not supposed to be super soft or anything. But this is how they're looking. All right, guys, so this is the finished result of the smaller cookies. As you can see, these are much smaller, but they baked for the same period of time. So about 20 to 22 minutes, these all need to bake for. So I'm just gonna put these on the plate. I'm gonna try this ugly one right here. That is good.
I told you.
Shortbread is so good. And it's crunchy, but it's melt in your mouth. Like, oh my God.
Very rich and decadent.
All right, so that's it for today. This is the first recipe that I'm showing you guys during the quarantine. I hope everyone stays safe. Wash your hands. Stay in the house as much as you can. Take your vitamins, eat your fruit, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and do so. If you like this video, please give it a like, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.